28th, where two other applicants were, their applications were postponed until the public review has taken place. So it would be nice if we could have some clarification as to what properties are before council tonight, and if it is Streamside Riparian Act or if it is EDPA that we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Well, I think that does speak directly to the nature of the public hearing, so I will ask for some clarification first through the clerk and if necessary through our manager of environmental services. Can you please indicate? I'm going to suggest that the meeting itself is unclear, and so residents in the audience may be unclear as to what they're even going to be. It's on the report. Well, it is. Okay, then let me. Sorry, Ms. Councillor Bryce, I'm looking at the supplemental report. Or which are you suggesting I read from before?
I was just sort of referring to the report from along that was dated July 24th, which talks about the purpose of this particular action that we're involved in tonight.
Thank you. I've got pages 208. Yeah, thank you. So the question is which changes, and there are over 14 amendments, and then to the for the stream side, and then 3 for the EDPA. That is what I'm showing as part of our published agenda package. I'm sorry, Ms. Bull, that you were unable to find that. It was, I believe, Madam Clerk, in our agenda that would have been published as of Friday online and available for pickup in the hall.
The reports, through the chair, the reports are absolutely available anytime. Anybody who wishes to obtain the reports, they can pick them up at the Municipal Hall, or we can email them, however that works. The attachments, the full reports, the full application package of the public hearing is not posted on our website as a full entity package. And that, there are some reasons why we don't do that, but anybody, the notice of public hearing is posted, certainly on our, through the Saanich News, 2 editions. There were interested parties who were also notified that this item was coming forward. It was at Committee of the Whole. And the Committee of the Whole agenda as well was posted in its entirety through the council agenda, which would have been, at that time in July that it was presented. Anybody who would have wished to obtain a copy of the report or any material that was to be presented at the public hearing tonight could have obtained it either in person, or we could certainly make it that emailed copy.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There are, as I've indicated, 15 Streamside amendments and 3 EDPA amendments as per the description you've heard earlier provided by Madam Clerk. That is what I'll clarify as to what was going on. We shall continue with the public input, and I would welcome any further speakers to come forward at this time. Okay, welcome to our meeting.
My name is Mary Haig Brown from 237 Meadowbrook Road, and I'll be brief because it's way past my bedtime, but I think, and probably everybody else is too, I think it's quite, whether it's clear or not, I understand that these are changes that are essentially housekeeping changes to these 2 area atlases to make them more properly reflect what is on the ground. And in that case, I think the sooner that the council says, yes, let's get going on this one, the better. I fully support both of those atlases. It's really, really important that Saanich stay with them and make them work. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haig Brown. Are there any other speakers? Calling for a second time. Are there any other? Okay, great. Good evening, welcome to the meeting.
Hi, my name is Teresa Birmingham, and I'm at 824 Royalwood Place. My husband John just sat down. I was at the last meeting also, And we did receive the letter and also a phone call, so thank you very much to make sure that we were aware. Unfortunately, the letter did say that we could go online, but it was only online for everything else but what we were really interested in, which was the stream side and the EDPA. And to say that it's not necessary to go through it all or to know what's being passed, it is important, because we don't know what's being voted on. You all know, but we don't know, and it does affect us. And we just think in future, there shouldn't be a reason why one is ignored, and yet all the others are available online, because we maybe cannot come down to City Hall, maybe our access is limited, and if we do require that information, I think you should make it accessible to us, because it does affect us. So we don't know what you're voting on. We know the accuracy regarding what pertains to our property is not correct regarding the atlas. So we don't know what's been amended or what's been changed. So how can you vote on something that we're not aware of? Because we don't have the information. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Any further speakers? Okay.
John Birmingham, and I reside at 824 Royalwood Place in Saanich, excuse me. And I'd just like to second what the wife has said, that we got no idea. And I've got no idea why I'm standing here. When I received a letter saying that the motion in regards to changes to the stream side that is right outside of our property and borders with McCall's, just what the changes are. So if we could have a clarification on that one, we'll gladly come back again. As before, we were here for 4 hours on this. We waited to mention or to hear about the stream side project, and we're back again tonight in another 4 hours. And to be quite honest, I've got no idea just why I'm standing up here after 4 hours, because I've got no idea just what the changes are. So if you can clarify that one, we'll gladly come back again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Birmingham. We shall add that as a question to staff after all public input is complete. What are we doing here? A general term, but getting specific.
Thank you.
I don't mean that to be totally sarcastic, although this time I may lend itself. Welcome to our meeting. I see the next person coming forward. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, council and staff. My name is Nicholas Denmarks, and I live at 466 Quail Road with my wife and my family. I wish to give my support to the approval of the amendments to the Streamside Development Permit Area Atlas, because my wife and I have been waiting for almost 9 months for these changes to the SPDA. We've done the reports, staff and council all support the changes to our property. It makes sense. We were also able today to print off the reports. I'm not too sure where the problem came up for the other people that didn't get the report, but we printed it off today, so I don't understand where some people have issues. I wish to point out that if there are contentious properties or issues that aren't concerned, because this is not non-omnibus, but because there's 15 issued properties here for the SPDA, if there's contentious properties or properties that are misunderstood or there's still questions, can they be removed from this motion to enable the ones where there are no issues to move forward with our lives? Because, like somebody said, there's 2 years waiting for change, and we don't know another 2 years. We've been waiting 9 months, which I guess maybe we're lucky. But this will enable the existing property owners to move forward with their properties and their lives instead of being in this limbo where they can't do anything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will ask staff at the end of public input whether or not these could be, let's say, pulled and voted on separately. Thank you very much, Mr. Dummix, I believe. Thank you. Any further input tonight? Second call. Any further input? Third and final call. Thank you very much. We shall close the public input portion of this public hearing on this matter, and we shall deal with some of the questions first. So, go back to, I believe it's Mr. Dewar. I thought it was Mr. Dorr, so apologies. To the manager of environmental services, the question was posed, why are we making decisions tonight when everything else is on pause? Can you please answer that question?
Through the chair, the changes to the environmental development permit areas atlas are only included in this report as they relate to the streamside development permit area atlas changes that we're bringing forward. In other words, we have 15 changes to the streamside development permit area atlas. They're housekeeping amendments to keep our mapping accurate. Two of these changes in particular, one, for example, is a wetland that is not connected to fish-bearing water. Therefore, it does not meet the requirements in terms of definitions of streams to remain in the streamside development permit area. So the recommendation is to take this important habitat and put it into the environmental development permit area. That's an example of why the environmental development permit area is included in this report. It's just by virtue of the areas in question being taken out of the stream side and being placed more accurately in the environmental development permit area.
Thank you. I'm going to also, sorry, I'll turn that on. Also asking the question, I think the Birmingham family both asked, which was clarification why we're making changes that they are not made aware of, but that I believe they were inferring affects them. Although looking at the three in the EDPA, I don't think that's what they were referring to. I think they were referring to the stream side. Can you comment on that, the fact that they seem to be unnotified as affected neighbors?
Through the chair, in terms of notification, I believe the manager of legislative services may be able to help us more with that. However, I am aware that the environmental planning officer was in communication and could perhaps clarify that as well.
Please.
Through the chair, I spoke with the Birminghams approximately a week ago, offering to meet with them, which was based on the direction that council had given to work with the community association, the neighbours in that area regarding Normandy Creek. And at that time, I thought I had informed them that, in fact, we were not going to include Normandy Creek in this round of amendments because of council's direction to get further clarification and to ensure that the mapping was accurate. I apologise if that wasn't clear at the time that I offered to meet with them, but I did try to relay that verbally to them specifically without even referencing the report.
Thank you. So you were suggesting it wasn't going to be, but I see it as item number 3 in our report, Normandy Creek 4665 Fillets Crescent. So it was, am I misunderstanding here? Please.
Through the chair, part of the recommendation, number 3, is talking about amendment number 3, which is Normandy Creek. And the recommendation is that we would bring that forward to a future public hearing when we have the requested information.
So it's not included tonight to the Birmingham family. Thank you for that clarification. I will defer, Madam Clerk, from your need to tell us whether or not the residents have been approached. I will now turn it over back to Council for questions. Thank you very much for your patience with the Chair. Councillor Dermott, I think you look like you wish to raise a question. Okay, any questions of staff? Seeing none, then I shall turn it over to Council for a decision. Council? Councillor Dermott?
I will move the recommendation. Sure.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Bryce. Do you wish to motivate on that? Councillor Dermott?
Well, very briefly, as was mentioned, these are not items that involve the revision of the bylaw, potential revision of the bylaw, potentially totally taking properties out of the bylaws. They are housekeeping items designed to make sure that under the existing definition of the bylaw, if a stream has been identified, for example, and it no longer exists or exits into the water course it did before, then it doesn't fit under the streamside protection bylaw anymore, and so forth. It has been then altered in that respect.
Thank you, Councillor Dermott. As seconder, Councillor Bryce, do you wish to speak to it? Thank you. Councillor Haynes?
My understanding is that these changes to the atlas are being recommended on the basis of ground truthing. Correct? So I believe that was one of the concerns that people had about the EDPA bylaw. So I don't see this is in the same case of that. I see that this is an application of ground truthing, and I support the motion.
Thank you very much, Councillor Haynes. Any further comments from Council? Councillor Murdoch?
I'm not going to speak to the application. I'm supportive, obviously. I think we've done a great job of confusing ourselves quite a bit this evening, so let's see if I can't help that, or make it more confusing. My comment is really one in terms of how we communicate the information of what council's considering, and I share the concern raised by the resident that particularly with respect to the public hearing, the information is not readily available online, and that is problematic. I do think that we do a good job of notifying affected residents when a public hearing is coming, but then it's challenging for them to get the information they're looking for. So I just want to make that point as part of this process, that I think we didn't do ourselves any favors by having a complicated way of getting the information this evening. That's not the fault of staff. I think that it's part of our process that we need to reflect on. So I'll just make that as a comment, and I'll be supporting these revisions.
Thank you. Any other comments? I will be supporting these as I see them as housekeeping, even though I confused the heck out of myself. Thank you, council. All those in favor? Thank you. Opposed? None opposed. And just to clarify what needs to be done, this is requiring therefore a second reading of bylaw 9355.
Move second reading.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Looking for a third?
Move third reading.
Second. Thank you very much. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And at this point, we would entertain a motion to adjourn this special council meeting and wish our mayor a speedy recovery. Moved and seconded. And Councillor Sanders. Thank you. I'm sorry, because I've seen the open space. All those in favor of adjournment? Opposed? Carried unanimously.